Good evening. Mill Creek Police, fire, and emergency rescue workers were called to Erie International Airport this morning after a landing U.S. Air jetliner failed to stop and crashed onto Asbury Road. 23 people were on board the aircraft when it skated off the end of Erie's major runway. Only one person was injured. Action News was on the scene shortly after the accident occurred, and reporter Lou Baxter has this Action Cam report.
It was snowing and runway conditions were slippery when this U.S. Air DC9 jetliner slid off the west end of runway 24 at Erie International Airport. The plane crashed through the airport fence and plunged down an embankment onto Asbury Road. U.S. Air Flight 499 from Toronto was making a stop in Erie to pick up passengers before flying on to Pittsburgh. There were 18 passengers and 5 crew members aboard the aircraft when the incident occurred. There was only one minor injury. A woman was treated and released at Hammett Medical Center. One of those witnessing the crash was traveling north on Asbury Road and narrowly escaped injury.
We were coming down Asbury, going north on Asbury, and my daughter thought she heard a strange noise after we hit the passed under the viaduct, and she said, "Mom, it sounds like something is coming very low, or a noise." And all of a sudden we saw the nose of the airplane pass in front of us. And
what in the world did you think when you saw that airplane go by?
my life passed in seconds. My eyes. I just saw it almost like we weren't there, but we're lucky here to tell you, because we thought we were goners.
Also witnessing the crash was Jetstream pilot Steve Wiley, who told Action News it appeared the landing was normal, but runway conditions may have been a factor.
He was definitely under control of the aircraft the entire time. It was just one of those unfortunate things that happens, and he obviously did everything. He had to thrust, the buckets were deployed, he was full reverse, he was doing everything he could to get it stopped, and the airplane certainly is in a position you can tell it was under control. It didn't slide, so he had it definitely under control. It's just one of those unfortunate things that the runway wasn't long enough.
U.S. Air officials requested that passengers not talk with the news media and kept them corralled all morning at the airport restaurant. However, one passenger from Toronto did tell reporters that there was no advance warning of the crash and no time to prepare.
Oh, there wasn't time for that. We didn't. Oh, it just happened too quickly.
Was there a big jolt, or what happened at the end?
Yeah, there was a bang at the end, and that's when we knew. We looked out the window and knew we were on the highway, but there was mud on the windows before that. We couldn't see anything.
Before the accident happened, you didn't know it was going to happen?
No.
Officially, it'll be quite some time before a cause is given for today's incident. Airport Control Tower Chief Al Reale could shed little light on what happened.
It was inbound for Toronto. It was given radar vectors for an ILS approach to runway 24. And he landed runway 24 and slid off the end of the runway. There was no indication that it was other than a normal landing.
A spokesman for U.S. Air said the inbound flight originally decided to bypass Erie when notified the airport's instrument landing system was not operating. However, a short time later, the system was working, so the jetliner circled around and made a successful instrument approach. But for reasons still unknown, the U.S. Air captain could not stop the jetliner before it plunged onto Asbury Road. The aircraft suffered heavy nose damage, but otherwise the aircraft remained intact. According to eyewitnesses, passengers and crew members slid down an inflated chute and ran from the aircraft soon after it came to rest. Erie International Airport was immediately closed, and that caused a real jam at the terminal since all flights were canceled. Some passengers had to delay their trips. Others were busy finding rental cars to drive to their destination. As for the passengers aboard that wrecked jetliner, they got a free lunch courtesy of U.S. Air and were then put aboard a chartered Bluebird bus for a ride to Pittsburgh. But as luck would have it, even the bus had some trouble handling today's slippery conditions. Authorities we talked to still have no idea how they're going to remove this giant aircraft from the middle of Asbury Road. There's been talk of tow trucks, giant helicopters, airbags, and even cranes. Whatever will happen remains to be seen, but it's safe to say Asbury Road will be closed until further notice. Lou Baxter, Jet TV Action News.